Now we move forward, viewers. India and the United States have been locked in discussions over a wide-ranging bilateral trade agreement for the last 8 months or so. The latest on that front is that the talks have reached a final turn and a deal is extremely close. However, there is another aspect to the ties beyond the diplomacy, and it has just as much to do with India's steadfast commitment to its people as it has to do with the President Donald Trump's attitude of superiority over the rest of the world. This is Senator Lindsey Graham. He is a Republican senator from South Carolina, and he has effectively been on the Capitol Hill for over 40 years. Starting out in the year 1993 and in the House of Representatives, Senator Graham recently spoke about the President Donald Trump's threat of levying exorbitant tariffs on countries buying Russian oil. Here's what he had to say to Fox News, and I quote, "I would tell China, India, Brazil, if you keep buying cheap Russian oil to allow this war to continue, we are going to tariff the hell out of you and we are going to crush your economy, because what you are doing is blood money. You are buying cheap Russian oil at the expense of the world, and President Donald Trump is tired of this game," unquote. He then goes on to add that China, India and Brazil buy 80% of the cheap Russian oil. That is what keeps Putin's war machine going. So President Donald Trump is going to put a 100% tariff on all these countries, punishing them for helping Putin. He also further then stated that China, India and Brazil are going to face a choice between the American economy and helping Putin. While it's true that India's imports of Russian oil have increased heavily over the last year, India has always maintained that it trades in its own interest and does not rely on any country. But here's a little perspective for who is actually driving the war in Ukraine. India has traditionally imported most of its oil from the OPEC countries, but since the war began, Indian refineries have taken big advantage of the drop in Russian oil prices. Today, Indian sources almost half its oil from outside the OPEC nations, and experts say that this has helped stave off impending inflation crisis since the sanctions on the Russian resources have begun. According to the reports, India has imported nearly 121 billion US dollars worth of the Russian oil since February 2022. But on the flip side, America has provided Ukraine with weaponry aid worth about the same amount, just over 120 billion dollars US dollars, and according to the reports, to the Ukraine since February 22nd. It really does take two hands to clap. That is what is a message for Mr. Graham. For America, the solution has always been simple. We dictate and the world follows. They forget that they are not dealing with the same world as that was at the time of 1991. You claim you are going to crush the Indian economy, but the truth is that America needs the Indian economy more than it would like to admit it. It is apparent in how America rails against Indian trade, barriers in the World Trade Organization and other forums. But it is this kind of selective appreciation of the fact that makes American claims very hard to take seriously these days.